Hello all, Zach here again. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Over the last 15 videos or so, I've covered exclusively somebody else's games. But today, I'm going to pitch you on one of our own games here at World of Game Design. At the end of every video so far, I've mentioned that you can head over to our website and check out the stuff that we make. We do a lot of stuff. This video series on YouTube is only one tentacle of the World of Game Design kraken, after all, and making books is what I've been up to full-time for the past several years. Mayan Epics, The Forgotten Solar Temple, is the first book that I put together with my current partner, Jared Nielsen, and is also the first book to come out officially under the new World of Game Design logo head. So, what is it? Well, it's a couple of things. First, it's the premier publication for our Mayan Epics line. Mayan Epics is our take on a fantasy setting heavily influenced/inspired by the historical Mayan people. Jared and I spent hundreds of hours going through documentaries, historical books, scholarly articles, and recorded presentations by the foremost Mayan archaeologists and historians. We hired an absolutely breathtaking watercolor artist to do most of the book's interior, sparing no expense, as Dr. Hammond would say, and I think we've put together a book that, while certainly steeped heavily in fantastical and fiction, should feel distinctly different from your typical medieval fantasy. The Mayans were an incredible civilization, light years ahead of others in the fields of mathematics and astronomy. For centuries, they not only survived in the jungles, swamps, and mountains, they thrived and even conquered those places, turning uninhabitable terrain into enormous cities, vast croplands, and a roadway system that was, and is, jaw-dropping. We took all of this, plus their religious practices and city-state empires, and came up with a system-neutral setting and a 5-part campaign that we feel like does a pretty darn good job at emulation. We built a totally unique gear calendar system, a cosmology built up around the idea of a world tree, plus a couple new forms of magic and a whole bestiary filled with creatures from both Terra and myth. The Forgotten Solar Temple gives you a taste of all that. But it isn't the full apple. That comes very, very soon with our full Twin Gods Apocalypse sourcebook, which contains an entire campaign. In fact, as of this video, you can already snag that PDF, and the print version won't be too far behind. The second thing this book is a temple crawl. That's the meat of the adventure. We started out by commissioning a VTT map that depicted the interior of a ziggurat of massive proportions, and then we wrote an adventure around it. I think you could probably wrap it up in 3 to 4 evenings. At least that's what we've seen in the playtest. But your own table's results may vary. It's a great introduction to the setting because it's contained and hyper-focused, but the fact that it's in a temple means that we get to play heavily with a lot of the themes we feel like are important to a Mayan story. You'll get a taste of the calendar system, the idea that we're all made up of various essences, and that all creatures are symbolic of crucial aspects of existence. You'll also catch hints and nods to the larger campaign, as this is part 1 of that epic-scale adventure. 2 city-states, led by twin god kings Tezca and Kukul, are on the brink of war, and the party has been called out of the underworld to act as the last stopgap and jury to prevent the apocalypse that will happen should the kings decide to bathe the region in bloodshed. There's a lot going on, but you can always just play this as a fun crawl filled with puzzles for your puzzler, beasties to throw at your warriors, and treasure enough for all. Now, I mentioned earlier that this book is system neutral, which means that you can use it with whatever fantasy system your group loves the most, but we're also converting the whole thing over to D&D 5e, OSE, and DCC, and all of those will be available as free PDF conversions throughout our AnySystem app in the next few months. Typically, we ask for $20 for the full color book and PDF, but if you input the code Introducing Mayan into the web store, we'll also throw in a copy of the absolutely massive 3-foot by 4-foot map as well. What's more, if I've fully convinced you and you go ahead and pre-order the full source book at $50, we'll do the same deal there as well. Both books come with the VTT assets, so even if you need to play online, we'll have you covered. Links to all of this will be down in the show notes. We plan on continuing to support this line into the future. We've already got a dice tower, miniatures, terrain, and an Olmec expansion book in the works, and just about all of that should be available in 2022. Okay, so that's your introduction to Solar Temple. Our next several videos will be back to business as usual, but you can start to expect 1 or 2 of these introductions a month. We make a ton of cool stuff, and, well, if we think it's cool enough to write, it's probably cool enough that I should want to tell you about it, right? As always, if you like this video, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. You can always support us as well by heading over to our website and web store and checking out all the other stuff that we have on offer. Until then, we'll see you next time.